From the shores of Puget Sound, this is GreenerViews, a unique media resource for information, education, consultation, and fun. GreenerViews is a part of the Healthy Homecast network and is brought to you exclusively by healthypainting.com and ambrosiadigitalmedia.com. Each episode will introduce and connect you with services, products, practices, organizations, and groups that focus on the health, happiness, safety, well-being, charity, and community of all. Find us on the web at www.greenerviews.net. And now, your host, Daryl Whalen.
Good evening and welcome to episode 36 of GreenerViews. I'm Daryl Whalen, along with Randy Parcel and Michael Schwartz. Joining us this evening is Tom O'Connor from marketfreshfruit. GreenerViews is part of the Healthy Homecast network. GreenerViews is sponsored by healthypainting.com and ambrosiadigitalmedia.com, which happens to be myself and Michael's businesses. If you would like to be an actual official advertiser or sponsor or donate, please contact info@greenerviews.net or call 206-650-4587. So we generally start out by telling how I know the guest. I met Tom. We were just chatting about it before we got started about a year ago, I guess.
A year ago is right, yeah.
It was about 1 year ago, and it was for a little business networking roundtable, a very casual thing that was really, really cool. A Gallup and Capitol Hill, I believe, First Hill area, was putting that together on a regular basis. And Tom was just really an amazing person and had all kinds of great ideas and just really positive. And we even had a chance to talk a couple times on the phone. And I think my podcast, I'm not even so sure that I had even had the podcast going that long at the time.
I think you were thinking
about it. I had a couple episodes going.
About it.
I did have a couple episodes going, but it wasn't in full blown, and I was trying to market it. And I remember all the great ideas. I remember you had a lot of great ideas. I can't be honest with you and say that I remember what any of them were.
None of them were mine. I picked them up along the way, but that's if they're a good idea, then you know it's flattering for somebody to pick it up and run with it.
Are any of our ideas really our own? I mean,
I don't think so. No. I don't think I've had an original thought in years, to tell you the truth.
You just remember the good stuff and you share it. I mean, that's what it is. So welcome, Tom O'Connor, and thanks for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
The brief elevator pitch.
Sure.
What is Market Fresh Fruit?
Sure. Well, Market Fresh Fruit is basically a wellness company, and we deliver fruit to offices all over Seattle and the Eastside. We consider ourselves an anchor to any wellness program. Companies use us to boost productivity and increase morale because we give their employees a healthy choice over the white carbohydrates, the bagels, the muffins, even the candy stash that we're all tempted to reach for when we get hungry at work through the day. It's everybody's overworked and underpaid. I think that's easy to say. You could also look at it that people are doing the work of what used to be 1.5 to even 2 job descriptions a couple of years ago. So people are under stress. They can't move. They don't feel like they can, and they do sort of negative things at work. And one of them is eating that junk food. So we give people a healthy choice over that.
Yeah, that's great. So who started it and when?
Yeah.
I think it's your thing.
Well, I tell you, I'll try to make this brief. I started.
That's fine. We got plenty of time.
Okay. Well, I was always in sales and marketing, and I was at been at a couple of startups companies, and the startup company that I was with last, they just went out of business, and I didn't know what I was going to do, and so I collected unemployment for a couple of months, and a friend of mine said, "Hey." He owns a produce stand down at the Pike Place Market. I said, why don't you come on down and help me out? And I said, all right, I'll do it. So it was a very humbling experience. But I said, okay, I'm going to do this. And I decided that I was going to get very, very good at selling fruit. And so I developed a way to do that. And the great thing about selling fruit at the market is that you get to test out on a regular basis what works and what doesn't work in terms of arresting somebody's attention enough that you can put this in their hand or their mouth and then ask for them to purchase your product. So anyway, I decided I was just going to have a lot of fun with that. I did. And I said to my friend, I said, I think there's a business in going out and reaching out to offices. And so basically that's what I did. And on my own, I just went out there and signed up 20 accounts in a matter of 6 months. And then I said, I know how to do this. And so then I went out and started doing it on my own. We've been doing it for 16 months now. And we now have just passed the 50 client mark.
Sweet.
So I'm feeling like I'm onto something good. And it fits with my core values. There's no one that doesn't like fresh fruit. It just doesn't. It's just not there. Everybody loves it. So it's very easy to move into this space right now.
So why don't you give us a little bit of a description on how the process works?
Sure.
How does somebody find out about you? How do they call you, or do they have the menu, or?
Yeah. Well, so we're on the web. Obviously, we have a website. It's marketfreshfruit.com. I'll do a lot of outreach to people. I'll just call up businesses, HR people, office managers, facilities managers. I think what differentiates us and we think makes us a little better is that we go out and we taste test everything before we deliver it. We search everywhere possible. We go to the Pike Place Market. We go to not only the high stalls, the permanent stalls, Daryl, but we also go to the day farmers. We'll go to local growers and farmers. We use farmers from Eastern Washington. We often buy from Tiny's Organics. We think they're great. We've got a source, a farm that's as close as Maltby in Snohomish County, and we'll surface apples and other fruit from them, berries. But our criteria is that it has to be just drop dead delicious, and that's what we do. In a typical delivery, we'll have 7 different fruit varieties each and every week. Always apples, always bananas, because they're the most popular fruit.
Sure.
Everybody loves them. But then our customers, our clients, trust us to find the 5 other fruits that are just amazing in Seattle this week, and that's what we do. So, for example, this week we sourced a New Zealand jazz apple, which is just outstanding, and we also have bananas. In addition to that, we found a nectarine, a red Ryan nectarine. It was developed in Stanislaus County in California. It's an early nectarine. The beauty of this is that it's both firm and sweet, because a lot of the early nectarines, they look great, but they're just not there, and this one doesn't. So we added that to our delivery. We're also delivering a blueberry basket. We've got some Taylor Gold pears, which are outstanding. Again, they're from New Zealand. We have red grape clusters that we've included. And then we also have some pluots, Flavor Rosa pluots that we're including. So we're starting to move in. It's the first week in June. We're starting to get some of the stone fruit up from California. It'll really hit in about 4 to 5 weeks when we get our own beautiful, super sweet fruit from Eastern Washington.
So I was going to ask, as the season goes along, for the stuff to be a lot more regional.
Absolutely.
It's so the percentage goes up for the regional stuff as it's available.
It absolutely does, and it goes up for organic too, because you can buy it and it's fresh and it's local and delicious. And we also do another criteria, which is something that pulls into what I do with my background in permaculture. So I'm a certified permaculturalist, and I'm also have a teacher's training certificate. So I'm certified to be a trainer in a permaculture program. And basically what that has done is helped me educate myself in terms of nutrient density and what we can do in terms of giving people nutrient-dense produce. That's what we really want to do.
So it's not strictly aesthetic, even though the aesthetic is part of it.
It has to be aesthetic. And I mean, it has to be taste. It has to just
it has
love. You have to
you
love
want it to look good. You want it to
be
taste
a little
good,
blemished,
but you also want it to be good
that's
for
right.
you.
That's right.
I love it.
That's our goal. And you know, the state of agriculture in this country is that, for the most part, it doesn't matter whether it's organic or inorganic or conventional. It's industrial agriculture, which means that they put on nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, anything will grow.
Yeah.
Okay. What we want to do is get the fruit that was grown in living soil, where people are feeding the soil biology, that they're actually putting the nutrients and the materials in to feed all the critters that basically are in the soil, so that you've got just a beautiful, nutrient-dense, chelated minerals available for your body. That's what we do.
Yeah, no, that's really neat. I went up to one of the malls down here. I think it was down in South Park, and I went to see a movie at the matinee, and I've been on a vegan diet now almost a year.
Really?
And so going to find something to eat in the mall.
Hard.
To find something good, and they had at one of the the little kiosks in the the food court, they call it, they had a bowl of apples down there at the end, and they claimed that they were local or something. And I bought one of those things, and I'll tell you what, I took 2 bites out of it and I threw it right in the garbage. It had to be the worst tasting apple ever. And it looked really good in the bowl and everything.
Oh yeah. And don't you feel burned?
I feel burned. I went back and told him. I said, I don't want my money back, but I'm going to tell you that was the worst apple I've ever had.
And you know, it's happened to every one of us when we go into the grocery store. We see something beautiful, we buy it, we take it home. It's not at all what we thought it was going to be. We feel burned, and we say, you know what, I'm not going to do that again. And what does it do? Well, it drops down our intake of fruits and vegetables.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I encourage everybody to carry a little pocket knife. And you go to the grocery store and you see something that you think you're going to like, you take a plastic bag, wrap it around your hand, grab that piece of fruit, cut a slice.
Yeah.
Sample it. If you like it, buy more. If you don't, wrap that up, buy it.
Yeah.
Just buy that one piece of fruit. And to tell you the truth, I've done that. I easily have done it 100 times. And a store, even though I offer to pay for it, the store has never, ever charged me.
Well, most of the stores that most of the stores that have any integrity and that they're there to sell stuff that people like, they're wholeheartedly wanting you to say, no, we're not going to sell that. We don't want any of your money for that. The people that really, really have integrity are going to go out and find the good stuff next time.
Listen, they're spending so much money to get you top quality product as much as they can, right? The problem is that they buy early. So they're subject to the vagaries of the market. So it could have a rainy spring. Well, that's too bad. That's in the pipeline. They're buying, a half a ton or more, multiple tons of this particular produce. Yeah. And it's already been allocated. The contract's been signed and they're taking delivery, and here it is. We don't think that that's good. We don't want you to do it. We want you to be an informed consumer. We want you to be an active participatory consumer. So take that knife, try it. If you don't like it, don't buy it. But if you like it, you'll get more.
Yeah.
That's the idea. And, to tell you the truth, this is the other piece that comes into wellness and our fruit deliveries in the offices. If you're in HR, you'll know that the 5% of your employee base is costing you the sickest. Okay, is costing the company 20 to 25% of the health premiums.
Yeah,
right. And it's those people that we want to help companies impact. So, and a lot of families grew up, they didn't have very many fruits and vegetables. I never had a salad, believe it or not. My mom and dad are from Ireland.
Yeah.
They grew up on farms. I never had a salad.
Had a lot of potatoes.
Well, my mother and father would cook food until it was mush, and like they did in Ireland in the farm. So I would never.
It's completely devoid of any kind of nutrition whatsoever.
And it tasted like baby food. It's like, I can't do this, and I didn't. So I wasn't exposed to it. And there's certain people that just don't have fruit. They don't have vegetables at home. So our program exposes people to just incredibly delicious fruit. That's the hook. And the great thing about it is that they hear, a cubicle mate on the other side go ooh and ah about this pluot. Well, I will tell you that 95% of Washingtonians have never had a pluot.
It's a plum, isn't it?
It's a plum and an apricot combined.
Oh,
it's just incredibly delicious and keeps well. It's a wonderful fruit. Anyway.
I met somebody that lived in Seattle their entire life, and they were 30 years old, and they had never been to the pass.
They had never
driven to any of the passes.
Yeah.
So the pluot thing doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, and you're just not exposed to it,
Yeah.
right? Or you look at the price and you say $2.99, $3.99. I don't know what it is. I don't think so.
Yeah.
So, but with us, a person tries it risk-free at work.
Yeah.
And they realize that they love it. They don't just like it, they love it. Then they see it at the grocery store on the weekend, and they say, I tried it at work. I know it's great. I'm going to get some of these for my family.
Yeah.
And so now you start to have that wellness behavior change.
Great. So so now that you have approximately 50, you said you just hit the 50 mark.
50 mark,
That's
right.
got to be pretty good from a sales standpoint, isn't it? When you're reaching out to new clients?
In 16 months, yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's great. And now we're scaling our business. Now we're doing more on the East Side. We've always had a good Seattle presence, but now we're doing more on the East Side. And I'm loving it. It's really works with my core values. It helps people nutritionally, and it just helps you lead a better life.
Great. So what is your job title and your main roles and responsibilities within the company?
Okay. I'm the owner of the company. I'm the founder. My main role is actually, there's a couple of them. One is to develop new business, obviously. But secondly, I'm the quality control guy. So I'll go and I will taste test everything. I'll go anywhere. I really will. I will tell you that easily 20% of what we purchase, or what we're about to purchase, we taste test at the loading dock. We reject 20% of it. And it's not that it's bad, it's just not great. And if it's not great, then I don't want anything to do with it.
You start getting a reputation of somebody that's willing to compromise, that's going to
I don't want to do that.
Take a blow to your business.
I don't want to do that. And so I will often order, 4 different varieties of apples, but there's only one this week that's really good. I'll taste all 4 and I'll get like 20 cases of that particular one, or 40 cases of that particular one, as opposed to the other 3 that I tasted that just weren't quite there. So we're sort of like, and I hate to say this because it sounds kind of snobby, and I don't mean it that way, but we're sort of like your Nordstrom personal shopper for fruit.
Yeah.
There's nobody out there that we know that's doing it.
Well, the truth of the matter is, you can now get the basic, the apples and the oranges and the bananas down at 7-Eleven. So you can get fruit generally just about anywhere.
Sure.
But are you going to have a business where you're going to go into companies and tell them, we want your employees to know that you love them and want them to be happy and eat good food and to produce as a employee and stuff, and just pass off anything to them? It's not going to work.
It just doesn't work that way. With us, there's no wastage. You don't have that. Like I said, it's got to be drop dead delicious, or we just don't include it in our deliveries. We call ourselves fruit agnostics. So we're not growing it. We just go and find what's the best out there and what's available. And that's what we deliver. And so far, the market is responding positively. People like what we do. It's that attention to detail. And it's not priced any more, really, than what you're going to see at the grocery store or down at the market. So it's very affordable. And this is underwritten by the company.
Correct.
So the employee is not paying for this. This is the company who's picking this up because they want to have that health piece. They want to walk the walk and talk the talk. I'll give you an example. There's a company that I work with. It's a manufacturing company, and so there's a lot of union people who are on the floor doing the work, and it's an older population, and so the HR person had people come in and you got to have your BMI taken and maybe a blood test and your glucose tested, and then if you go through these programs, these wellness programs, then we won't raise your rates. If
exactly.
you don't, then we will.
Yeah.
Well, there's a certain number of people that were sort of not healthy and were ID'd as needing a health coach. Well, the company said, what a great idea, let's do the health coach. Well, it was not a great idea according to the workers. They said, we don't want people calling us. We don't want them in our lives. We don't want strangers calling us on the weekend. So they cut that piece of their program.
How about if you just take away the donuts and the cookies and put in the fruits and vegetables?
No. We're against that too. No. You would think that would be the way to go, but no, it's not. You want to give people a healthy choice. So to wrap this piece up, so they cut that off. They took the money and they bought our service. And now they're doing it. And the one and only time they got a thank you note from one of their warehouses was for this.
Wow.
That it shows that people are really caring about us.
Yeah.
So that makes me feel great. And it also looked very good for the HR manager and management in general to say, like, okay, we hit something that works for people.
Well, bravo to them for knowing that having fresh fruits and stuff is a positive thing.
Right. Right.
So let's talk about a little bit more about, we've been touching on it the whole time. Let's talk in a little more detail about the target clientele.
Well, a lot of times I've had good success with professional services firms. So accountants, lawyers, computer design, they seem to get it. And I think because they're sort of intellectual capital firms, and they know if people aren't charged up, or if they're feeling like they run out of steam at 3 p.m, well, they've just lost 2 hours, right? Because that's something that this fights too. There's something in the in the HR human resources world called presenteeism, and it's basically when the lights are on but nobody's home. People have checked out. Right.
Sure.
In the afternoon, and we want to push that off, and they know that that's an issue, and this is a way to do it by basically eating a piece of fresh fruit, mid-morning snack. You got some fiber in you, so you eat a lighter lunch. It takes your sugar up nice and easy, brings you back down, so there's no up and down, there's no insulin shock, and you got a better work throughput throughout the rest of the day. So there's a dollars and cents equation to it for the company, along with the wellness piece, just in terms of productivity.
Just makes sense.
It does make sense, and it's a radically simple idea, Darryl. I mean, in Europe, in Australia, this is standard operating procedure.
Common. Yeah.
It's common. And here, it's just you'll see the candy bowl. You'll see the Skittles or the little Hershey, little tiny little bars, or the Starbursts. You'll see those. But you won't see fresh fruit. And since when did people fall in love with Halloween candy? I mean, when they're not 5-year-olds at work. Why treat them like that?
Yeah.
Why have that available and nothing else?
Because some people that's just what they've always known, and that's how they've always been.
Yeah.
So let's. I'm the so who's the person from the company that you meant generally talk to? Is it HR or?
Usually it's there's three categories of people that we've touched upon. HR, human resources, or the facilities manager, or the office manager.
Okay.
Okay. So, and it's not that, I mean, and we come in and we do a free tasting session. So we say, please have us in. And we always
It's a fruit party.
It's a fruit party.
Yeah.
You know, you don't know it, you know, until you try it. So we come in and we do that free of charge.
Yeah.
That's just part of what we do. Basically, there's nobody that doesn't love the idea. It's a matter of finding the budget, whether it comes out of HR or whether it comes out of the facilities budget.
Yeah.
And it's such a small amount.
Yeah,
I mean, really, this is not a whole lot of money. You know, it's about 80 to 90 cents to $1 per serving of fruit. We heavy up on the bananas, which brings the price down because bananas are inexpensive.
Yeah.
And so long as we stay right there, people feel like, oh, that's reasonable. That's a good deal.
Yeah.
And a lot of times people will do a trial. Our typical delivery is our trial delivery is like a $49 order with a $5 packing and delivery charge. And for that, they'll get 4 to 4.5 dozen pieces or servings of taste tested, hand selected, guaranteed just delicious fruit. And then a lot of times people will try us, and then they say, can we add in? They'll do it on a Monday, and then can we add in on a Wednesday because we're going through it? Doesn't last the week. So that's very, very common where people come in and they say, wow, I can't believe how well this is going over. And who doesn't want to eat healthy?
Well, I think once you get, just as you're acclimated in the other way, once you start to get acclimated into a healthier way of being, then it becomes just the way you are.
You incorporate that new behavior, and then it's like old behavior. It's like, of course, I'm going to have a piece of fruit at work or two. Yeah. Right? And we say you want to have anywhere between 2 to 3 servings of fruit per person per week.
Yeah.
If you're going to be able to impact that behavior change.
Yeah, and that's a minimal. That's a good place to start. Yeah.
It's a great place to start. But we work with anybody's budget.
Sure.
We really do. We know that people want to do this, and we bend over backwards, small enough that we can respond.
So I'm the office manager. You're calling me up.
Sure.
How would you convince me that this is an important service for my business?
I always make sure you have time to talk to me.
Sure.
So I don't just launch into anything, and I describe to people what other companies are doing, why they want to do it, in terms of the wellness, because right now most of the wellness programs are really a stick, right? We're going to raise your rates if you don't give us your BMI, and if you don't put that pedometer on, and if you can't measure us and go in and visit the website, 6 times in 6 months, or whatever it is that they want you to do.
There's no red tape involved in this one.
There's no red tape in it. It's easy, and it's an anchor for the company to show that they really do care. It's not just about the money. It's about that we care about you, right? Because that's where people's profits. It's their business goes down the elevator at 5 every night, and if you're not feeding your people and taking care of them, then you're missing out on the investment you made in those individuals that you're employing.
So what are you most passionate about as it relates to this work?
Well, I love the fact that people are eating healthy. My true passion is to help people understand just how important and what the nutritive value is in fruits and vegetables and produce. The research that's coming out now, that's mostly coming out of Europe and the Far East, is it sort of blows my mind in terms of the nutraceutical value of fruits and vegetables. And I'll give you an example. So, and I'm going to give you a resource that people can go to also.
Yeah.
It's called greenmedinfo.com.
Greenmedinfo.com. Check it out.
And there's a gentleman put it together. He's got 27,000 abstracts, scientifically vetted research, and he's aligned it with disease states, the delivery mechanism, whether it's a plum or an apricot or a banana or a cauliflower, and the research, for example, 10-year Dutch study, 40,000 people in it. For the people that ate white-fleshed produce, an apple, banana, cucumber, cauliflower, every other day, they had a 40% reduction in the incidence of stroke. Now, I will tell you that if Eli Lilly or Abbott or one of the pharmaceutical companies could come up with a drug that had a 40% efficacy rate against stroke, everybody would be on it. I mean, there would be TV commercials washing over us. We couldn't escape it, right?
Well, the secret is we don't really need pharmaceuticals to expect. I'm not going to say completely, but to the extent that we use them in life.
I believe that's true.
Yeah.
And why wouldn't you take it the way Mother Nature, the way you evolved, the way the plant evolved with us? And you know, it gets back to the ability to source nutrient-dense food, because the fruits and vegetables that your great-grandmother or grandfather ate were much more nutrient-dense.
Yeah, we don't have the vitamins and minerals in the soil, and
we don't,
and the seeds and everything else.
That's right, we don't, and that's the crime. That comes back to industrial agriculture.
Yeah,
and that you really, in a perfect world, you knew your farmer. You knew when you go to your farmer's market. Maybe some of the people listening go to a farmer's market.
Oh well, Seattle. This is a national show, but we're based here in Seattle, and we're actually here in Burien, and they have a Burien farmers markets on Thursdays, and Seattle's pretty darn great as far as like farmers markets are concerned.
It's phenomenal. You can go to any neighborhood. You don't have to drive 10 miles, and you'll find a farmer's market. Just about.
So know your farmer.
Know your farmer. Ask him, what does he do for soil biology?
Yeah.
All you have to do, how do you feed your soil?
Yeah.
Right? I've got, because of my permaculture background, I do a very short 1-hour training, and I call it the 7 Tips to a Nutrient-Dense Garden. And I'll pass that to you. You can hang it off your website if you like.
7 Tips to a Nutrient-Rich Garden by Tom O'Connor.
Yeah, and it's some standard.
Where do you do that at?
You know, a lot of people will have me in for a lunch and learn.
Oh, okay.
So
cool.
I'll just come in and you know, come into the company, and I'll say, here are the things you need to do. This is what it looks like. This is where you can get this. It's really pretty straightforward.
Well, maybe we'll set a spot for you out in the future, and we'll do an evening lunch and learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'd be thrilled to. I would.
Cool. So listen, we're really running along here. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with the rest of our interview.
You are listening to GreenerViews.
Gravity connects me to the earth, which connects me to people who connect me to myself more honestly. And gravity connects me to the crust, which connects to the leaves on the trees that make it possible to breathe.
On the minefield, blessed with naive mind shield, like a helmet. They would tell us that we don't know how we feel or how to connect with other people on the planet. Oh, if we only knew the power in each blue, disillusion little. In the vision of one resides all, destroy the individual, for this is critical. The self ain't everything, has to grasp, to cling, to mask material vastly shipwrecked beings. At last, release the greed amassed with capitalist tasks and contact. The mass communication is all we have and dwindling fast.
Okay, welcome back to episode 36. That is like really blows me away. 36 episodes of GreenerViews. We're back here with Tom O'Connor from marketfreshfruit. So this is a little less about the business. This is a little bit more about you personally. What is the motto or the mission statement for your life?
For me, is distilling information and bringing it to people that empowers them in their life. And it's sort of what I do. It's what I like to do. I like to teach people. Part of this is just helping people understand what they can do to lead a healthier life, and how they can perhaps reduce the amount of pharmaceutical drugs they're taking, and ways that they can heal themselves with the God-given fruits and vegetables that we have available all over. So that's really what
Great.
I
I
like
love
to
it.
do.
That's exactly what we're trying to do on the show,
Sure.
and that's exactly why you're here.
Sure. It's like people don't need to make profit off of me. I don't feel like I want to be harvested. I want to be treated like a full human being.
Yeah.
And I want to eat natural and healthy because I know that's the best thing for me. Hey, if eating Big Macs every day was healthy, I'd be doing it. I have a sweet tooth.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Big Macs.
Yeah.
But I take it in moderation. I make sure that I have 4 or 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day, and then I can go have my Big Mac, and I'm very happy, and I don't feel guilty, and it's balanced. I don't feel deprived, is what I'm saying. And that's what I encourage people to do too. Balance it out. We always advise our people when they start a fruit program to don't do an either or. Don't take away the bagels. Don't take away the donuts. Don't take away what you've been to snacks, but put it as an alternative and let people themselves make the choice. That's what we want to do because they're going to choose the healthy option.
Great. By the way, I do not by any means advocate the Big Mac. So who or what has had the greatest influence on your life so far?
Well, in terms of this business, the best thing that I did for myself was to take the permaculture course that I took. And I did that in 2008. I just thought it made sense for me to get some more skills. I wanted to be able to understand how could I grow my own produce? How could I be empowered? How could I be more in charge of my life as opposed to having food that's shipped from halfway across the Pacific over here? And so I took a course in permaculture. And permaculture is it's a way to get more out of it's a way to harness nature's natural processes in a way that benefits mankind. I'll give you an example. So before permaculture, I looked at a dandelion like it was the bane of my existence. It ruined the lawn. I hated it. Was digging those things out. Or I would take the Monsanto product, the 2,4,5-T, right? The Agent Orange, and I would spray that on my dandelions to have this perfect lawn. That's what I did.
That's unfortunate, isn't it?
Okay, and how many people have done that? I mean, really,
Yeah.
every homeowner's, of course, that's what they do.
But now you know that you can eat those dandelions.
Well, it's even better than that. Yes, now you know you can eat dandelions, and they're extremely good for you.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the greens.
Yeah.
But more importantly, in terms of nature, a dandelion is a pioneer species.
They serve an incredible purpose.
They serve an incredible purpose.
Yeah.
They throw a deep taproot. And the reason why they do that, because they do that, they can bring nitrogen up to the surface. And plants need nitrogen. So they go deep, they get nitrogen. It's only accessible a foot or two underneath the earth, right? They bring it up so that other plants can now access that nitrogen. Same thing with alder trees. So dandelions is considered a weed. It will populate disrupted earth, and that's why nature does it. So it's a pioneer species. Same thing with alders. Alders will populate disrupted earth, and alder is considered the trash tree, unless you want to use it for fuel. It's good fuel.
And it's the same thing with the bees.
I'm not
Having a purpose.
Oh, having a purpose is right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
So if you look at the roots of an alder, you'll find these huge nodes about as big as your thumb of bacteria that bring up nitrogen.
Oh, I saw that picture that you had sent.
That's right. I sent that to you. Yeah.
Hey, well, I love that you know that stuff. What we'll do is before you go, we've got 2 slots in September that I put a call out that haven't been filled. It might not be the most reasonable time to do a permaculture thing, but why don't you come back in September and do a whole show on permaculture?
Permaculture, it's a great time to do it because it's a great time to
Perfect.
get started for what you
Great.
need to do the winter so that you've got an incredible opportunity in the spring.
So let's make a commitment to that
Sure.
before you go. There's
Sure.
2 dates left in September, and
Okay.
we'll fill one of them with you.
Okay, that's
Because
great.
I can tell that...
In winter gardening, in the maritime Northwest, you can do winter gardening.
Yeah, the Northwest is a fantastic place. Tell us a recent movie or a book that you've read recently that's been inspirational to you.
Well, I don't know if I'd say that it's been inspirational. It's been illuminating. It's a book that it's called Seeds of Destruction, and it's by an author named William Engdahl, Engdahl, and he's a out of the mainstream researcher, and he's sort of helped me be more informed as a citizen, as a person of the world, in terms of what people are up against, in terms of corporate piracy, and how it relates to food, and the strategy to basically take away natural food and replace it with genetically modified food, which is what Monsanto's all about.
And processed food and stuff.
And processed food, right. So that's been a really life-changing book for me.
Seeds of Destruction.
Seeds of Destruction, yeah. And he's such a good researcher. He takes all of his stuff, and it's extremely researched and data-driven in terms of the conversations that world governments have had about food and all of the ways of profit from diminishing our ability and what I consider our God-given right to grow our own food. So that's been a really powerful.
That's some pretty heavy
life-changing.
stuff.
Well, that's kind of what I do
I
on the
love
other
it.
side. It is heavy, and I don't mean to be heavy in this interview.
I mean, this is all about the forerunners of change and people that live and act and think and behave outside of the box.
Hey, the stuff that's coming down.
Yeah.
I mean, this that I've seen in my lifetime, it's just
Yeah.
unbelievable.
No, it's mind blowing.
It's mind blowing.
Yeah. It's also pretty saddening a lot of times.
It is, and I feel bad for young people.
Yeah.
They have no idea. They don't have any historical perspective. They just get what's pushed their way, and they think that that's the way it is, and that's how it's always been, and that's not been the case. That's not the case. And so I try to look behind the scenes and try to learn. Instead of just getting what mainstream media is telling me is true, I try to go to other sources so that I can get a balanced perspective. I just think that that's just a good idea.
Great. Well, let's take a little bit of a jog around, and let's turn this around.
Sure.
So how do you maintain such a hopeful, positive attitude around all this stuff and in life in general? When I met you about a year ago at that meeting, I just saw this positive, hopeful person. I know myself, I have a tough time being that way sometimes when I start thinking about all this other stuff that you're talking about.
I think that we are in for the adventure of our lifetime. I think that the changes that are going to be coming down the road over the next 2 years, 3 years, are going to be like something we haven't seen before. And I think that it's going to be an amazing time, and I want to be, if not on the cutting edge, I want to be up there with people offering hope and solutions. And you know what? We're very, very powerful if we take the time to build community amongst ourselves. And that means talking to your neighbor. That means growing food together. That means in some neighborhoods in Portland, they're doing it. They've basically taken over the intersection.
Those damn hippies in Portland.
Those damn hippies in Portland. Yeah, that's exactly right.
I love it. I love Portland. Yeah.
They've taken over their intersection.
Yeah.
Listen to this. This is great. So they've taken over their intersection and they've painted it, right? And they painted the walkway and they stop it and whatever they do in it. Then they put up little spots around on that intersection, like it might be for a kid's Kool-Aid stand. They've gone even further. So when you go to your city, you can go to the tax base and you can see the parcel and the parcel number, and you can see how much the history of how much somebody paid for it, right?
Yeah, sure.
Well, they've gone one better. They've done like a 4 or 6 block area, and rather than do that, they label it by what that person does for a living. So the doctor, the hairdresser, the lawyer, the car mechanic, this person, that person. All of a sudden, you realize you've got this amazing skill set that is a block away within this 4-block area. And then you start to have people having conversations. Well, he does a car. And the little old lady who's retired, she's a great baker. So maybe there's something that they can do together that benefits both of them, right? I mean, that's what community's about, right? And instead of all of this money being siphoned out of our community, going to some conglomerate with national headquarters, God knows where, what about keeping that human capital and the money local? And building up the resources that you already have. That's what I am excited about. That's what I think we need to be doing. And,
Wow.
and you know, people are out there doing it because they're saying, like, you know, it just doesn't make sense for me to work that's 9 to 5 and all I have is debt. All I have is bills.
Yeah.
And I'm sublimating my happiness to make a car payment or for some other ungodly thing that ultimately, you know, is obsolete. So that's what excites me, and I want to be a part of that, and this in some way supports me doing it, and that's part of the reason why I do that how to grow a nutrient dense garden for people, because I really want people to feel empowered and they can do it, whether they've got a beautiful backyard or whether they're on a deck in an apartment. You can grow some of your own food. And you can almost do it up here throughout the seasons. You can do it if you have ground. You can almost do it on a deck. So anyway,
yeah. No, thank you for holding that passion and that and sharing that. I love it. So give us one thing, simple thing,
sure, that
most anyone can do to have a positive impact in the world.
I think. Really, I think being friendly to your neighbors, taking down that wall.
Yeah, that's
some
simple
small
and beautiful
way, whether it's saying hi or hey, it doesn't matter, but acknowledging their reality that they're there. We've become so in our tight little boxes, and we become so afraid. And not that we're afraid to talk to people, but we just think like, well, they're busy doing their thing and I'm busy doing my thing. And you know, that's not how people were meant to live, right? And rather than, sometimes I think of myself as a rat in a box, and I get taken out to go to work, and then I get taken out to the mall to go shopping, and that's it, right? And I don't want to live that life, and I don't think anybody does either. It's just that sort of like, it's just keeps throwing itself at you again and again and again as if that's reality, and it's really not.
Yeah, wow.
Right?
Yeah,
It's not sustainable.
I love that answer. And honor people's uniqueness and individuality and everything. I wanted to share something really quick here. So where I grew up, everybody had these green, you talked about the green lawns and without
the dandelions.
Without the dandelions and
chemicals.
Manicured, the chemicals, the same height. They had to be.
Sure.
And I had a friend who came from England. She was worked in an arboretum.
Uh-huh.
She was amazing. I mean, she still is. I haven't talked to her for a long time, but I still hold her in my heart.
Yeah.
And she extremely talented.
Mm-hmm.
She took out her lawn, her front and her back lawn, and put in these beautiful English gardens.
Uh-huh.
And the whole city was in upheaval about it.
Oh, yeah.
And they made her tear that all in and put her green lawn, and that was just like every other single person's in the entire like community.
Okay, well, let me tell you something that's hopeful about Seattle.
Seattle they don't make you do that.
No, you can.
I love it.
that green belt.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about Seattle. I couldn't believe it. I grew up in Massachusetts, coming from the East Coast. It's like, what's this green belt? There's green between the street and the sidewalk. I couldn't believe it. It's like, wow.
And
all
it's
this
just
space.
green. It's only
just
one
green.
shade of green.
The city will not stop you from planting that in a different way. They won't. Your neighbors may look at you weird, but who cares? You know, when they see the blueberries, or when they see the beautiful flowers, or when they see the amazing produce that you're kicking out, that you're having for yourself, and just a very little bit is all you need. They start changing their mind. They say, that's a good idea. Look at his tomatoes, doggone it. They look beautiful. I think I want some of that kale.
Yeah, and there was a guy that did that in the city where I lived in Cleveland, and he was looked at as kind of an oddball, and he was growing all his own fruits and vegetables and potatoes, and nobody was doing that in the, I was practically the ghetto where I grew up.
Oh, sure.
So, well, thank you. You're awesome. I love it. So how can listeners get the word out about Market Fresh Fruit?
They can go to my website, marketfreshfruit.com. If you send me an email, marketfreshfruit@gmail.com, and I will send you a couple of pieces. I'll send you the piece on 7 steps to a nutrient-dense garden. I'll be happy to do that. And then throw me an email, and we'll set up a time to do a taste testing session at your workplace. It's as easy as that. We'd love to do that. We think it just makes sense. And there's nobody, like I said, there's no one who doesn't like fruit. They want to do it.
Well, that's debatable. There's a lot of kids these days that don't eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. Any other, let's see, did you give a phone number? You said email?
I got a phone number is 206-304-2464, 206-304-2464.
Yeah, we'll put that up on the site.
That's how to reach us.
Any upcoming events or information that you'd like to share before we go? Any specials or anything coming up?
I can't think of anything right now. I do know that
you're coming back on GreenerViews in September to talk about permaculture.
I'm looking forward to it.
That's one special event.
I'm looking forward to it, and I just encourage everybody to plant something. Plant something.
So we'll let you have that one, and we'll also give you the opportunity to throw another one. We always ask somebody for any wise advice, helpful hints, or words of wisdom that you can leave us with.
Stay strong. Walk through any door that opens for you. Walk through. If there's a door there, you walk through it.
Great. Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're quite
This
welcome.
has been great.
On behalf of Randy and Michael and myself, we thank you. On our next episode, number 37, we'll have Andy Smallman, who's the founder and the director of the Puget Sound Community School. I'm really excited about meeting him. I've had a chance to go down there and talk a couple times and hang out with the kids. It's just an amazing, I know you would really, really dig it. It's an alternative high school. So to advertise or sponsor, donate, send feedback, check out the site, greenerviews.net. Send email, info@greenerviews.net. Call 206-650-4587. Please check out ambrosiadigitalmedia.com and check out healthyhomecast.com. That's it. Have a good night. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you for listening. GreenerViews is part of the Healthy Homecast Network. Check out all their conscientious and sustainably focused podcast programs and businesses at healthyhomecast.com. GreenerViews is created, developed, and produced by Daryl Whalen. Our audio engineer is Randy Parcel. Our video producer is Michael Schwartz of ambrosiadigitalmedia.com. Music for this episode was provided by slapjazz.com, danfajans.bandcamp.com, and jdhobson.com. Your feedback is important. Please feel free to contact us with any comments or questions, including suggestions for guests and program topics. You can call us at 206-650-4587 or send a direct email to info@greenerviews.net. Be sure to check back often. New episodes coming soon.